So I'm going to show you guys how to go from this boring wall here. Let's give my computer some time to breathe here. Jiminy Christmas. Look at how boring that is. Look at that color. Look at how dingy. That's that wall. That was the wall. If you want to turn that into this, then of course you've come to the right place. That's beautiful. Look at that. That's just absolutely gorgeous. We're going to zoom in. We're going to zoom in a little bit there so you guys can see the full glory. Oh my god, look at that lettering. Actually, that's really poor quality. Let's get in there. Let's get in there a little tighter. Let's zoom in on this. Look at that. Get a load. That's not even good quality either. But you see, oh, there it is. Look at that. That's nice. I did that. Did that all by hand. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's get into it. I guess you want to take into consideration a couple of things when you're quoting a project before you quote anything. I mean, this isn't even about pricing, so I'm not even going to get into that. But what you do need to know is essentially you gotta know the size of the wall, obviously, the material you're working on, and taking into consideration that the cinder block, there's going to be all kinds of pitting, so it's going to take you probably twice as long to paint something that you would normally take you to paint in on a flat wall with even surface. So you have to take that into account. But one thing is that we have going on here is this is a natural grid that we can use to our advantage. The best way that you can make a grid, and I'll show you with Illustrator here, to basically kind of write down a few things. Really all you need to know is the size of the wall. Okay, so this wall happens to be 60 feet by 13 feet from here to right here. I'm not worried about this line of cinder blocks that is like under the level line, because everything underneath that is not level. As you can see, this is a sloping pavement here. This is a parking lot here, and it's sloping in many directions. So since you have these natural lines here, you can always base your process on this. So again, like I said, get the dimensions of the wall. This one's 60 by 13 feet. Get the dimension of one of the blocks, because they're all going to be the same. And one thing you have to understand is there's a 1/4 inch of grout in between them. Okay, on all sides, on every block. Now the size, let's see, let's count the rows. We got one. Well, I'm not going to count them all. I know that there's 20 here, so you know, if you get a wall like this, just count the rows. And that's all you need to know. So we have 20 rows. We're not going to worry about that one, so don't take that into account. We got 20 rows that we're using to scale our mural. Okay, so let's go into our Illustrator here. I have a block. What do you know? Look at that, it's ready to go. I'm going to go to the properties here. I'll show you guys what it's all about. So the width is 1.3125 feet. The height is 0.625 feet. So that's the standard size of each of those blocks. Okay? Remember I said you got a 1/4 inch grout on each side. So the way we're going to do this, the way I came up with this is pretty simple. I made just a duplicate of that. Went to the properties. Instead of 1.3125 feet, it was, let's see, what's a 1/4 of an inch of a foot? Oh my gosh. I should have figured that out. Anyhow, it's this. It becomes that. You put in the right numbers, it becomes that guy right there. Okay. Easy way to make the length for it up top. Double it up. Hit hit Shift and Alt to duplicate it. And that should be the same. Yeah. Both should be a 1/4 inch thick. And now the best way to get these to not have any gaps, because this is what you want to make sure these are gapless. Go to the align, you go to the align to key object. Since they're both selected already, we want 0 feet. 0 inches of gap, and look at that, 0 inches of gap, 0 space in between. Hit group, Control G, and since we already got the length we want here, we're gonna align it since it's slightly off, and then we're gonna hit align a key object, and now we're gonna do it vertical. Okay, now we're gonna hit Control G for group. Now we're gonna bring this here to the bottom, and we're gonna hit Shift Alt, and looks like it intersected. We want to make sure it intersects when we move it, so that there's no gap. Perfect. And now you hit Control D a bunch of times. Oops. Correction. Let's try that again. Zoom in. Control D. Zoom out so you can see what you're doing. Hit Control D until you have enough. Enough to cover the length of that design. Alright. We're gonna hit Control. Well, yeah, hit Control G. We're gonna group those, and then we're gonna move these up. And if you hit Shift and Alt, and if you drag at an angle, it will perfectly stagger them. And if you're lucky, when you let go, they should be resting perfectly on top. And look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. So we could. Oh, no, we cannot do that, I guess. Oh, we're not going to do that. Forget I said anything. And we're just going to repeat the process till we get a full grid. Nope. Since we already have 2 layers that are perfectly staggered, it's going to be a little difficult. There we go. Perfect. Zoom out. Control D till we're done, till we reach the tippity top. Oops, it's not my catchphrase. Okay, look at that. Alright, now if you had like an actual, like some serious dimensions you have to work around, you might want to put those. You basically could do a layout of the entire shape of that wall so you can see exactly where you're putting it. Like say it's got a weird wall and it cuts off, you know, right there and then right there. Yeah, you can put the shape of the wall in your thing so you can be like, oh, okay, so this doesn't fit there. Okay, know exactly what's going on. You can make a layout simple. Use your brain, figure this stuff out. It's like one of the simplest things you could do to really save yourself a lot of time, and I think you guys will appreciate the lessons I'm imparting here. If you guys do, if you guys feel like supporting me, you can donate, or you can hire me. Hire me for a mural. Hire me for some stuff. I'd feel much better about doing some actual work here, instead of just asking for a handout. Lord knows, easy come, easy go. Okay, so we're gonna group all this stuff. All right, now this is exactly 8 by 10 inches proportionally. It's not actually that size. It's actually very big, since you know this is all scaled. I made a little artboard right here. Look at that little guy right there. That's 8.5 by 11 inches. That's what that looks like. So, because we have that block, right? That's one entity, the grid and the item. I'm sorry, the design. And then as you can see, that block, that square, I can't really choose it right now, but it's going to consider the grid and the design as one item and that square as another. So we're going to select both of those. We're going to hit Control 7. Whoops. There's always something I forget. And you know what? It's really frustrating because there's definitely an order to the way you do things on here. Okay, we're going to we're going to arrange this. We're going to bring it to the front. So if you have any issues, just know that what it probably is that this is behind the item that you want to clip. This is a clipping mask. Okay, so say you want like a view of just this part and you want to make a printout of it. It doesn't have to be 8 by 10. It can be whatever is scaled up to, you know, however big you want to print this out to be. So just to show you how useful this could be, gonna double this here. Okay, and you're gonna see something pretty cool here. Oh, come on, this thing. I apologize, everybody. Alright, so I'm actually gonna backtrack here a little bit. Make sure I get this just right. Forgot to mention you want to put the image behind the lines. Maybe let's see, maybe, well, actually let's go back, because once it's in a clipping mask you can actually still edit everything here, all the original things. Look at that. So yeah, you can go through, make those lines thicker if you need to, just so you can see them better over the image. And there we go. Look at that. Don't forget to thicken the lines. Yeah, so you can see that well. Put the image behind it. And then, let's see, put your image together with the bounding box, group it, and we're gonna go here to the properties. What we're gonna do here? We're gonna resize it here. Oh wait, I already did this, didn't I? 8 inches. Oh, correction. 11 inches by 8.5 inches. And there we go. Alright, that's it. That's the tutorial. Look at that. Look at this thing. And the reason why I do it that way, ooh, look at that. Gonna have to go in there. Look at that. Glad I didn't sign off like this. Let's see. Okay, there we go. A little too thick. We're gonna hit Control Z so we can get back in there without having to select everything. 1. And there's 0.7. Still too thick. We're gonna go back. 0.4. A little better, but we're gonna go back. 0.25. And that looks much better. Okay, gotta remember that when you resize these things, sometimes it can go a little wonky, so I'm actually gonna go in here. I'm gonna fix this guy. See if I can here. Yep. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down. Perfect. Okay. And you'll just have to do that for the other image. In fact, I would actually, before going through all of this, well, actually no, because yeah, you're not going to come up with that issue until you resize it. So yeah, this is kind of just like one of those things where you gotta learn by doing, and I haven't done this in some time, so I completely forgot what the process is. So thank you for bearing with me here. Jiminy friggin' Christmas. Let's see, is that the right size? Did I get that wrong again? I sure did, didn't I? Or did I get this one wrong? Let's go here. Let's see, width is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. And maybe it's this. So we're gonna go here, properties. Let's see, width is 8 inches by 10.5 inches. There it is. That's what did it. Okay, go to align. And it's aligned to artboard. We're gonna center that so that when you print it, it's not gonna have any margins or, you know, not gonna ruin the image. It's not gonna print off the margins. Perfectly centered. That's the way you want to do it. So then you just export that. Same thing with the rest of your images when you're done doing that. And that's how you do that. And then you take this to the job site. And it works surprisingly well. I was able to put up the shapes of everything within about, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Super, super quick. I mean, it is really more intuitive than you might think it is, just from looking at it. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful. If you guys find this useful, like I said, subscribe, follow me. I will be putting up tutorials like this in the future. I've got some artwork for sale. Check out my website, check out my links, check out the link to the band that's playing. That's Boa Constrictors. They're amazing. Show them some love. But yeah, on to the next one.